Good evening, everybody. Mike, yeah, don't worry. The stock will move up and down based upon investor sentiment, not knee-jerk reaction. So the Dow continued to trade up above the T-line today. That with the, well, that's not what I wanted. The S&P 500 and the transportation index all continue to trade well above the T-line, but the NASDAQ did a very doji sandwich down through the T-line. So this puts us back into the category of the NASDAQ stocks are probably shortable, and anything not related to the NASDAQ you could be buying. So as you can see on OCGN, scoop pattern, J-hook pattern. And it's trading lower tonight. It's trading back here. But remember, what happens now means it doesn't mean a hill of beans until they open it the next day. So you need to see where everybody is buying and selling. VXRT is up big. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, it's back up about in here. Is there any news on that after hours? And I was going to use this one to demonstrate that if you're in an uptrend and they gap it down toward the lower end of the trading range of the previous day, immediately put a stop at where it opened, because if they have enough force to drive it down through that level, they're going to come back and, okay, successful phase one. All right. And now you have to see what it does tomorrow. And so some of the biotechs are, you can see where when we first started looking at this one, or somebody was pointing it out, it was just doing a kind of a fry pan bobble breakout right here. As you can see, it's already moved from whatever this was, a $7-8 range. And today it closed at 80. Jumping Jehoshaphat's. Yeah, so there's three phases, but I am not sure now with all the COVID stuff that they aren't speeding up these tests. So it's not taking a couple years. It's more, well, it may take just a few months to get something approved. Let's see. Kind of taking a look at the ones that were in. VTSI, still a nice fry pan bottom setup. Max was a good looking trade, except the volume has dried up on this one. DJRI, you can see the scoop type pattern. Still want to be a buyer of this one on strength. Yeah, I forget who was who starting to point out, was it Dina or Diane? Forgot who started pointing this one out, as it was just coming up out of the fry pan bottom. Oh, Connie? All right. I hope you've stayed in this one, Connie. And TBIO, still moving up steady. You sold Friday. All right. Well, somebody else was asking if they got out at the $57 range. So here's what I do in a situation like that. If I was still holding up here and thought it was way out of line, please sell half of it and then see what the other half does. But if you can buy stock here and sell it up here, it only takes a couple of these a year to make big returns. So that's a very nice fry pan bottom setup. Now some of the others, DRNA, Shooting Star, Bearish, and Golfing. This one definitely has to open positive tomorrow to stay in it. ALT did a bearish engulfing right at a level that everybody else was watching. This one I would have closed out today and then see if it does a bobble breakout where you can buy back in. All right, good trade, Connie. QuantumScape, even though it's got big prospects for the future, and if you're trading it short term, should have been closed out today. You can always buy it back, hopefully on a next strong price move. Yeah, good one, Tom. So any time I see something that looked good and it closes below the T line, close it out. The prospects have gone against you. That was on Romeo. The biggies are not doing anything to speak of. NVIDIA, below the T line. Netflix, absolutely sideways. Apple, after that bearish belt hold signal, should have been out of this one. No direction. And Amazon, after reporting, guess what, they look like decent earnings, closed below the T line today after the bearish engulfing. This one you should be out of, waiting for the next buy signal. And Tesla, it had the prospects of doing a bullish engulfing signal that if it opened positive today, you could have been buying. Still a nothing chart. Okay, so where's the money going right now? This is the advantage of a chat room where everybody's looking for the same signals and patterns. Somebody pointed out our PDF today. That's after I had pointed out that our trade on VET was working well because of the double doji. They pointed out that this one looked the same, and this one's even more relevant because not only do you have a double doji, but you have a double doji bobble breakout. Valero, same scenario. So these are excellent entry spots, meaning you could be buying these based upon this continuation pattern, especially with a bobble breakout. Same scenario on DK. Probably more upside in all of these. CVI. There's a J-hook pattern, even also relevant, because everybody and their brother is watching to see what it did at the 50, came back, bounced off the 50. Suspect a high probability trade from this level. That also reflected in the oil stocks. P10. You can see kind of a little trend kicker. This one you definitely want to be a buyer if it opens up above the 50 tomorrow. And we did VET. VET has the double doji. PAR, double doji, fry pan bottom. This one can be bought on positive trading tomorrow. Let's see, had some more here. FTI, another bobble breakout potential. So the reason I'm pointing all of these out, they're all good charts. So you can make two assumptions. One, you can assume that they are buying the refineries and the oil drillers. The assumption is easily evaluated in the sense that they're all being bought. That means there's lots of money coming into that sector. We have the advantage of going back and saying, all right, which one of these have the strongest signals? So we got some bobble breakouts. We've got some trend kicker type signals. They all may be good. So you try to pick out which ones might be the best out of all of them, and what's the upside potential. So this kind of enhances the fact that not only can we identify which sector is acting the strongest, we can go and figure out which stocks in that sector are acting the strongest. So we're kind of, again, putting all the stars in alignment of being in the right place. Oh, so here's, I'm going to go back to this. Here is, if you were thinking of going long, or if you were long, anytime they close back below the open of a candle that's in the overbought area away from the T-line, you close. That's where your safety stop should be. That's on CVM. That's what we were going to illustrate on VXRT. So at least if you stop out here, it looks like that's right about where it's going to open up tomorrow. You can always buy it back on positive trading, because at least this way you're keeping yourself out of a situation that could keep going down. Now you're back in a situation where the probability is up without the risk of holding on, hoping that it's going to go back up. Let's see. Looking, whose handwriting is this? Same scenario over here on GSX. Make this big enough. But even though you were in a fry pan bottom, the fact that they gapped it down and traded back below this level on a short-term basis, you knew it was probably at least coming back to test the T-line. Let's see. Yeah, it's trading at bidding at 972, asking 973 on VXRT. There's that fry pan bottom type move. So this was more to illustrate that these setups allow you to at least take notice of when it's time to trying to get into a big breakout situation. And of course, that was to kind of illustrate the fry pan bottom on this one. Okay, you had a lot of the steel stocks starting to come back because they're still talking about improving the infrastructure. So there's Zeus with kind of a fry pan bottom breakout situation. Steel Dynamics, ever since the little scoop pattern. You can stay long on this one. U.S. Steel, probably wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one. You can see the double bottom. You can see the piercing signals off the 50. If this opened positive, breaking this level, now we're heading back up to this level. Now, why is this thing doing that tonight? SXC, look at your Morningstar type signal. Best friend gap up, fry pan bottom off the 50. Another one that can be bought. Schnitzer. There's your double doji, implying there's going to be more upside. Let's see, the silver and gold stock. So this is kind of where you want to concentrate on which sectors are moving the best. Little best friend gap up off the 50. Where do you think your next target's going to be? And EXK, kicker signal, right here at a breakout level. Looks like it broke this downtrend. Wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow. But Mag Silver, right off the 50. There's a gap up here. And potentially up to this level. So I would definitely be looking at some of these gold and silver stocks. Look at your Morningstar type signal, scoop type pattern. If this opens positive and trades positive, breaking this downtrend or this wedge type pattern should be a lot more upside in Hecla. Anglo Gold, there's your best friend. Gap up, same scenario. Positive open, breaks this little downtrend, probably at least bringing you back up to this level. So at least you got things that are moving you in the right direction. Then you see if they can break out of the other resistance levels. Connie, reality is getting into something like BTX and OCGN are few and far between. But the one point that I try to keep illustrating to people is the fact that we're putting ourselves in situations where the probabilities, because we can identify the patterns, are putting us in situations where we can be in some of those big price moves. Let me see what ones we can find that we're going to make a fortune from. This is NM, got a little cradle type pattern, and a positive open would definitely be breaking this downtrend. DAC, I think, is another shipping company. Look at your fry pan bottom with the dimple. This has a potential of doing a strong wave. Sting was another one. Bouncing right off the 50 with a bullish Harami, Morningstar signal. Look for it to break this level. FT, have no idea. We don't really need to know why they're buying specific areas. All we're really concerned with is that we can identify that they are doing it. You don't need to know the reason why they're buying. Walmart, I usually don't pay attention to. But look at your little scoop type pattern with a Morningstar Doji sandwich, your McMuffin. It's not a big magnitude mover, but I would suspect they're going to come up and fill the gap, which means at least you could put a spread or something on to take advantage of the price move. So here's a few that look good. NTP. Look at your Doji sandwich after a bullish harami right at the 50. Look at your Doji sandwich. If this opens positive, what's it telling you? This resistance area is not acting as resistance anymore. Mike, I wouldn't go as far as saying it's going to give you a bull market into 2022. Remember, prices move based upon the perceptions. So if things open up and they get good, that may already be built into the market price. So what we have to be aware of is when does other concerns start coming into play, like they keep pumping out so much money into the economy. Is inflation going to start setting in? And then how is that all going to be paid back? Now, my theory is it's never going to be paid back, and it doesn't affect the economy that much. But every time they do something, like spend more money, I think somebody's figured out it doesn't have anything to do with the overall economy. That when money is put out there and everyone says, oh, inflation, there's things that occur in the economy that are subtle enough that we don't even detect them, but it's offsetting what could be happening in the future. Yeah, I don't remember the last time they were paying down the national debt. So I think there's a clear understanding from politicians that you don't have to. You. Nice bottoming action, a little bubble breakout. Is there another one with a UEC? Whoops. UEC? Yeah, Uranium Energy Company. Also, look at where your Morningstar signal is, starting your fry pan bottom setup. Let's see, AEM, kicker type signal. One of the mining stocks. CCJ, little double doji fry pan bottom breakout of this wedge. What's the upside potential on something like UEC? Probably at least here, give you a running start, and then testing the top of the channel. And ALTO, that one I wouldn't be afraid to be buying because of your bobble breakout. if they start trading this one positive tomorrow. Retail stocks. HZO. There's your J-hook type pattern setup. Wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one again. Remember, we started after this one as it did the best friend gap up. Gaps. Right, still more upside. And ODP. Little breakout. And CYH. Nice fry pan bottom breakout. So where's your first likely target? Up here at the recent highs. Okay, on the short side, things like Very. You can see the bearish engulfing, bearish doji sandwich, bearish doji sandwich, stochastics still heading down. If they break the 200, you've got the possibility of a wave 1, wave 2, going into wave 3. Fubo continued to act weak today. This one has kind of your bearish McMuffin or your Dagwood. An evening star signal followed by a bearish doji sandwich. First target should be down in this range. So these market conditions with the NASDAQ starting to sell off and the Dow going up, you still want to have a probably some short positions in the portfolio. Daku, bearish doji sandwich, closed just below the 50. First target would be back down here. Here, I would suspect heading back to this level. And GSX, if this opens lower tomorrow, we figure they could bring it back down into this territory. What would you consider breaking the 200? It could briefly go under it and then pop up right away. How much under the 200? Well, nothing. I don't know which one you were referring to. The GSX? Or it's anything that if they continue to sell it off after breaching a support level or a potential support level, that means they're not heading back up yet. The probabilities right now would be that if you're closing below a support level or a moving average that everybody else is watching, the probabilities have gone against you or have gone against the bulls. So space, another one, has this rounding top with a bearish doji sandwich sitting right here at that level. If it opens lower, what do you figure is happening? 1, 2, 3. And CVM, now that it's breached the T-line, more than likely, here's your first target filling that little gap, and potentially all the way down So you wait for one close after a major. Yeah, if it closes below that support level that everybody is watching, then more than likely they weren't buying at that support level. NVAX, bearish Harami. Now look for the 200. I think, oh, somebody was pointing out Dick's is another retailer. Yes, as long as these are staying up above the T-line, you can stay with it. Okay. The refineries should be acting well. I think I saw the first report tonight that there might be a gasoline shortage because of things being shut down or anyways, I didn't even look at CLAN. So this is the July contract. The crude oil is trading right around 45 or 64.45. You can see it's in a slow, steady uptrend. Okay, they don't have enough drivers for the tanker trips. That's what it was. All right. Okay, so while we're here, let's see. You can see the pattern set up in corn. Corn has hit the high that it's been since, I think it was 2013. But you can see the J-hook pattern setting up. Not so much yet in the wheat. There's your fry pan bottom. Waiting to see if wheat starts back up. And soybeans, not as crucial, but right now the scuttlebutt is that corn is being bought up excessively by the Chinese because the swine flu killed 50% of the herds, the hog herds in China, and so now they're trying to build them back up. So they're buying more. What am I trying to say? More corn than they have in a very long time. July hogs, yes, was up strong today. Now heading back up into that trend channel. And cattle still in a downtrend. Suspect it's heading for the 200-day moving average. Okay, I guess, let's see, gold. Moved up again nicely today. And silver also in a good, strong uptrend. All right, so right now we definitely have a market where you've got good longs and you've got good shorts. So right now I'd probably be, I don't know, 70% long, 30% short. Okay. I guess with that, are there any general questions on candlesticks? If not, Jim, go ahead and do the double line. And then 4.2 seconds, do the next double line. NOV looks just like the other. I'm taking it for granted that this is a oil refinery. That one can still be bought. Electronic Arts, there's another example that if you're in an uptrend, what's your safety stop at the previous day's close? Henry, you could be short on this one. And NIO, nothing here. Probably wouldn't be short. I wouldn't be long. It's just junky sideways. Tops is one of the shippers. If you're thinking of going long, you can buy this one on positive trading and then don't let it close back below the 50-day moving average. This one turned into a junky chart. If you're short, you stay short. Kind of the same scenario that if you were long this one, at least your safety stop would have been right here. BDSX, all you can do right now is stay short. If I was short, I'd have my safety stop at today's open. Sunstone, ugh. If you're long, you can stay long. Don't let it close below the T line. If you're thinking of going long, I'd buy it above the 1360 level. AFIN, nice fry pan bottom, and observe the obvious. They started buying right off the 50. So that one, you could be buying. Just be aware of what your magnitude of return will be. It's not all that significant. I think we did SVN. Gap up, you can buy this one on positive trading. A.O. Smith, kind of your wave 3 start. ABEO, the left-right combo gap up. That one you could be buying also. You could go short on this if it opens lower tomorrow. Kind of the same chart pattern as space. That slow rounding. So slow rounding kind of dumpling top. Yeah, kicker type signal. Meaning it didn't open quite above yesterday's open, but it did go the opposite direction. So all you do on this is if you're a buyer, you want to be a little bit more attentive to see what they do when they get to the 50-day moving average. Because usually if you don't have a true signal, they're a lot more apt to be resisting at the first resistance level. U.S. Steel you could buy on positive trading. HFC, another one that's doing a bobble breakout, fry pan bottom. You could buy that one on positive trading tomorrow. And CTSO, Still volume. I don't know, what was the volume today? I think I've already checked that the volume would be all right. Shopify. If you're short, you can stay short. I wouldn't be doing anything with it. So I think we did tops, didn't we? Oops. Tops to get ready to buy on positive trading. TTCF, not anything great. So if you're long, you stay long. Don't let it close below the T line. Zixi, stay short. You can see where they ran into trouble right here. Kind of a reverse cradle pattern. Kind of a reverse scoop pattern or berry scoop pattern. Oh boy. TAO. Oh, TAP. Is that what you're looking for? Okay. Because TAO is nothing. TAP, you're in wave 3. You stay with it. MP, nothing. Probably wouldn't be long or short. Just no direction. Sava, get ready to go short on this one. Also having troubles getting up through the 50, and you can see that you're in a mild downtrend. So it becomes more apparent that if you're in a downtrend and every time they hit a resistance level, they're selling it off, that's usually a good place to start shorting. Another one that should be shorted if it opens lower tomorrow. Probably a nothing chart on Maxar until they can get up through the 50. No, I wouldn't short this one, but I wouldn't be long either. And Bidu, that one I'd be more apt to short with the anticipation they're bringing it back down to the 200. CDAC, just stay long. You're in the overbought area, so I'd probably put a safety stop just below today's low. If it comes down through there, they've stopped the uptrend. XRT, slow, steady uptrend. You just stay with it. FAS, steady uptrend. You stay with it. Matador, still, oh boy, just not a good-looking chart. Kind of failed getting through this level. I'd anticipate they're coming back to test the T-line. And CPE, kind of the same scenario, but it did come back already and test the T-line. Oops, didn't scroll fast enough. CDE, nothing here yet. If you'd been short, I would have covered the short. Wouldn't be going long. That's still kind of a sideways chart. No, I wouldn't be going long on this one. Okay, CTO, CTUSO. Yeah, it might be a little bit light, but it was in my scale that the universe of stocks trading more than 200,000 shares a day. Bearish doji sandwich on Airbnb. I'd get ready to short this. You can see it's in a downtrend. Shorted on weakness. You want to make sure it gets through this level. Pfizer, J-hook pattern. You could be buying this one. And Marvell, you stay short. Domino's, stay long. What's your safety stop at today's open? Chipotle, that one, if you had gotten long, you close it out. That's pretty much a nothing chart also. CTO, another nothing chart, just sideways. Rob, just, yeah, it's slow stochastics, and it doesn't matter whether you're looking at K or D. You just want to see that it's toward the oversold area. So even though whatever that one is not oversold, if you're seeing a Morningstar signal right off the 50, that's close enough to say that's oversold being bought. AMAT, no, it wouldn't be long or short. That's a sideways chart. Mike, it's usually the brokerage firm. Because I'm sure the volume on Sava is big enough that there's enough stock around everywhere. Big bearish engulfing. You stay short on AMD. And AFRM, that's a perfect short, bearish scoop type pattern, a failure right at the 50. That one I would be ready to short. All tech's still in a downtrend. There's not any strength in any of the high tech stuff. The high tech stocks right now. All right, take a look at your oils and your refineries. They should have some more strength over the next few days. One more, ATUS. You stay long. I'd have a safety stop below yesterday's low, Friday's low. If it comes down through there, it's a very slow uptrend. We did Tesla. Nothing. If you're long, it has to open positive to stay in it. Okay, everybody. Long as the Dow continues to trade above the T-line and the transportation index trades well above the T-line, you're pretty much in an uptrend, but you still got a lot of good stocks. I probably will be shorting space on weakness tomorrow. You can see the downtrend. You can see the rounding top. Then you can see the bearish doji sandwich. Look for it at least to come down here. So with that, yeah, crude oil right now is still in this slow, steady uptrend. All right, everybody. Well, we got done early tonight. But the picks for tomorrow are going to be pretty simple. Some of the refineries and some of the oils and some of the gold stocks. So we'll see everybody bright and early tomorrow morning. We'll see you then.